Welcome to the Dogon podcast. My name is Tristan Berryhill.
And I'm Alex Trefny. Like I always say,
we are here to talk about...
Oh, I was going to say I'm excited to be here, but...
He's excited to be here. And we're here to talk about...
I don't know. I thought
don't know
you don't have the topic, dude? I text you. I said, hey, have the topic ready for this one.
I think we're lost on it.
I'm just kidding. I didn't text him that, but I just wanted to be like, oh, shit, but let's talk about fuck feeling good.
Yeah.
Feeling good is the worst indicator of what you should do.
Yeah.
If, gosh, one of the biggest things that ruined modern society, I feel, is the whole do what makes you feel good. Follow your heart and do what you love. I honestly think that is the biggest load of shit on the planet.
I think to a point, if you can find maybe a profession that you enjoy.
Nope.
No?
Nope. You're still identifying yourself with something external that's not you. You need something outside of who you are as a person to be someone.
Well, I guess dive further. I don't know.
Well, for example, if you need to say, follow your heart, do what makes you feel good. And this girl's like, I want to be I want to make a YouTube channel. I want to have my own YouTube channel and I want to be super famous with that. And that's what makes me feel good. And it's like, okay, once you start doing that, once you start going down that process, you realize it's not glamorous like you thought. All these little things you have to do and all this work, you don't love that part. You just want the success. You want the end. Yeah.
I mean, you can't have that right out. You're going to have to work for it, of course.
Mm-hmm. And so that's why I think this whole right now it's like, oh, decide what you want to do, then go to school and learn how to do it.
I think that's horse shit. I think school's horse shit.
Well, I think education is extremely important.
I think certain portions of school are horse shit. How about that?
Like what parts?
I don't know, a lot of college degrees and shit will teach you about things that are relevant to what you're trying to gain, or
that part
it'll just
bugs
lead
me.
you down a whole path of none of this shit fucking matters, but now I have a degree that says something.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of times where it's like these classes have nothing to do with
I think that's horseshit.
Yeah. Or somebody who, for example, I don't have a 4-year degree. I have a associates and a bunch of other class. I probably have enough credits, but just all in different areas. And somebody else got this job instead of me at a mortgage company, and it's because they had a degree.
Yeah.
They had a degree in, it was musical theory, and it was a 2.5-year, 3-year degree that they could get. I think it was a 2-year program. It took them 3 years.
Right.
And they hired him instead of me because of that degree. And they literally told me that, well, he has a degree and you don't. Sorry, I know you have some experience. I know, but...
See,
and guess what? I ended up taking his job 3 weeks later because he couldn't do it. And they hired me in somewhere else.
Because a piece of paper that says you have something doesn't mean anything.
And then I ended up running their corporate training department as the training coordinator and developing the onboarding and doing the onboarding for hundreds and hundreds of people over a 3-year period.
Right.
When I didn't have a degree and the guy that they hired because he had a degree couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So, and to me, that was I don't know, that was really cool to experience that and to be like, oh, wow, I don't necessarily need school. So I do agree. Some of it is just garbage, but the education part.
Yeah, I'm not saying that educating yourself is bad in any way.
Of course
not. But
you can just be an autodidact or a self-taught person, and you can focus more closely on topics that are going to give you better results.
Yeah, and I feel like I teach myself better than anybody, so.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, and, I had a lot of learning issues when I was younger and, ways to communicate. Even my 4th grade teacher told me that, literally told me and a couple other kids that we were the stupid kids. So we're going to sit in the back row and she's not going to really help us or acknowledge us because she has to pay attention to the kids who are actually smart.
Well, I feel like maybe helping the kids that don't get it as well is actually more important because the kids who are smart are probably going to figure it out themselves.
Right. But see, what she didn't realize is I was, genius looks stupid to somebody who isn't intelligent. So,
yes, that's true.
I actually, from then on out, once they started putting me in other classrooms and putting me into other stuff, they were like, okay, Alex is far above and beyond where he should be. So that it's actually the opposite, and he isn't stupid. He's actually really smart, and I just had to as a young kid, I had to be like, oh, this teacher's wrong, but I'm going to be respectful towards her because she's my teacher. And so I didn't say anything for a long time because I was just like, she thinks I'm stupid. I got some extra work I got to do. And then she'd be explaining stuff and the smart kids wouldn't get it. And I'd be like, this is annoying. Like, I understand what we're talking about. I know. Like, why?
Right.
Like, I remember learning about, that's why I bring up Pavlov's dog so much, is because she taught, like, that was one of her early science, things that she taught us. And that was in 4th grade. So it was like a really like, dumbed down version of it, but it was like, it was talking about like how to program and change the brain. And I just remember being like, learning exactly what it meant and being like, man, I'm going to ring a bell and make her hit her head on the chalkboard every time,
right.
And I was like trying to think like, how could I get her to do it? Because she used to hit her head on the chalkboard and be like, gosh, darn it, when she was mad at the students. And so she had some issues, but I'm not going to say her name, but bless her heart, hopefully she's doing better. But yeah, so that was one of the early times in my life where it was like, it was just a disconnect in education. So I do agree. Some of that is a little crazy. But going back to what I was saying, I think it's better to be like, what kind of life do I want? And then once you identify what kind of life you want, be like, okay, well then what professions or jobs give me that kind of life? Because some people are like, I want to be a doctor. I want to make good money as a doctor and I want to help people. And then they become a doctor and they realize that they're working 60 to 70 hours a week, going to different hospitals.
And then you're like, how much in debt to school? And then
and they're like, this isn't what I wanted. I wanted to help people, And it's like, oh, well,
if you want to help people, maybe you should have looked a little wider and been like, maybe doctor isn't what I want to do.
But remember, they thought that they wanted to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Because they thought they didn't understand, just like that girl who wants to be a YouTuber, they don't understand the life that comes with it. You just have to
like look into the process of what's going on, I guess.
Yeah, look into the journey. And that's really what I'm getting at, is it's not about, if you have to be like, oh, I'm going to be a doctor, or oh, I'm going to be a podcaster or a YouTuber. If you're looking for that to validate who you are, and you're looking for something outside of yourself to find happiness or feel good about yourself or feel like you made it.
I don't think I need anything else at all.
Yeah. And that's a good place to be in, and most people tie that to their individual identity.
Yeah.
And it's like, I used to do that a lot. People be like, well, who are you? Tell me about yourself. I'd be like, I'm this, I'm that. And I'd say what I'm doing for work.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that's not me.
Yeah, we have to, yeah, exactly. And, and so people get lost in this road of like, I want to become this. And then they're not that person. They wonder why they feel depressed or upset or anxious. And it's because their mind and their soul is tired of lying to everybody about who they really are.
Yeah.
And it's like they're putting on this fake show and this fake mask because they made this decision to go down this road and that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And it's like some people, they make that decision when they're like 10, 15 years old. They're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to become this. And then they go and do that. And then they're like 23 and they're like, no, I can't stop doing this.
Well, the way I was is, when I was really, really young, I wanted to be a police officer. I had no fucking idea what went into actually being a police officer. I had no idea. I just was like, I want to help people. I want to put all the bad guys in jail.
Yep.
And I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to do it. And then I was like, oh, well, look at all these videos of these police officers doing really nasty things to this guy.
Really bad stuff.
Like really horrible. I don't want to be a part of that. I thought they were supposed to help people. What the hell?
Right.
But not to say that all police officers are terrible, but there's a lot of them.
Yeah, my whole family's police on one side, and a lot of great people.
Commend the ones that aren't.
Yes, and the reality, I think, just to touch on that, is like being a police officer is a very unrealistic position for a human being.
Right.
Because you need real men, and that's something that again doesn't exist in our world. Even some of the tough guys that are cops right now, the oath that you take is to put your own life on the line to deliver a supposed or pretty much known to you, like this guy's a criminal, but you're supposed to deliver that criminal as an innocent man to his day in court.
It's true.
So you're supposed to put your life secondary to protecting this guy who you're pretty sure he's a criminal based off what you've seen so far. You're supposed to put your life secondary to getting this person to his day in court instead of you making that decision based off of what you saw in a limited span of time.
Yeah, I believe that 100%.
And most officers pulled the trigger out of fear to get home to their parents or to get home to their wife or their family. Most officers will, pull the trigger out of fear to preserve their own life above.
And I say, protecting. If there is no other choice, pull the trigger. But if there is another choice, maybe you can get this guy alive. But unless he's got a gun with a beat on you, like unless he's got it on you, right. I don't think there's
You know, like when I see cops shoot people with a knife, you know, that guy was looking to get executed by a police officer. He has mental issues, he has problems, and he's running at a cop with a knife when they have a gun out at him. There's other things that those officers can do. You know,
there's plenty of other things, but a lot of them don't employ those, which is stupid. They should.
But they're kind of forced not to, because their insurance and the way that the precinct works is like they tell them like, no, you can't do this. If you shoot this guy in the leg and somehow this case gets thrown out and he's got a damaged leg, that's millions and millions of dollars for X amount of years for the rest of his life.
I mean, the way I am,
that's the way
the way I am is just, I'm going to do what I think is right, and I'm going to do it in the moment, no matter what the fuck is going to happen, because that's this person's human being life.
Yeah.
This is his spiritual human self. Right. So I don't want to take that from anybody.
Amen.
I'm not a killer.
Amen. Right? It's like, man, and it's hard though, because that's why I say like they need to be real men, because like if somebody wants to kill them, they still have to hold that truth in their heart. Like, yeah, this guy wants to kill me. I have to deliver him to his day in court. Yeah. Alive and safe.
And I think
with respect.
Yeah. I think you should be able to do that and do it effectively. But if it comes down to it, you got to take someone's life sometimes.
I mean, I can understand where, I've seen some horrendous and terrible videos where a police officer being Mr. Nice Guy up at the window and boom, just gets shot up, gets laid out, so it's like, I understand that it goes both ways, and I understand that the fear and the threat of losing your life. I get that. And that's why I say it's an unrealistic position for a human being.
Because every human being's worst fear is probably dying.
Yeah, you will do whatever you can to preserve your life. And in that moment, you can't really control a lot of the times what you're thinking or how you feel. So it has to be like really a part of who you are.
Almost 90% of the time, it's a 100% like a primal reaction of yourself. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, and we're not going to speak on the other, any police officers who are like intentionally are like evil or psychotic or mean towards people. Those guys, they'll get weeded out. They always do. I had an experience with one here, in Grayson County. Just over an hour, face down on the ground. He's pouring out shampoo out of like containers.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it was nuts. The kind of stuff he put me through.
I think you should give people decency.
Yeah.
Treat them like a human being.
Yeah, I was super nice and respectful for about the first 20 minutes, and after that, I even called the cops on the cops because I was like, dude, this isn't right. And so the other cops showed up, and they're like, why'd you call us? We're together. And I was like, you're together with somebody who's violating my constitutional rights? And they were like, no, that's not what I mean. But yeah, what's going on here? And it was like, it turned around real quick, and they got the dog, and they had the dog go all around, and he was like, and the dog was like, and he was like, oh, you learned it. I was like, you literally,
not a damn thing in there.
You literally told him to. And I know, and then they tear my car apart, nothing. I'm like, yeah. Just like I told you, but then that guy ended up getting kicked off the force. I think he's working somewhere else, unfortunately, here in Texas. But he got kicked out of Grayson County because he had somebody's car impounded because he said that they put meth in the windshield wiper fluid. And he tested the windshield wiper fluid and it was positive for meth. And it was like, what? And the guy was like, what are you like the owner of the vehicle was like, this is insane. Like,
I have never seen this happen in my life.
The guy was like apparently like straight edge. I think he worked at a church. And so but I had another cop who was giving me crap when I was telling him this story about what happened to me. And he was like, I could tell he got really upset with me and mad at me. And like I was,
he thought you were lying.
Yeah, he thought I was like anti-police and some like punk guy who got what he deserved, but is going to talk shit about the police. And then he came in the next day and completely changed the tune. And he was like, yeah, that guy's crazy. And he's the one who told me that guy got kicked off the force and told me that story because he was like, I want you to know that we're not all like that. And I'm sorry. And I was like, I didn't think you guys were all like that. I was like, I was telling you because I knew who you are and I know where you're at rank wise. My whole family's police. I knew he was going to go watch that video. I knew he was going to pull it up.
I don't think putting any group of people into any category is a good thing. So.
Amen. I agree. And so it's hard. I've had a lot of really bad experiences with police.
Yeah, and trust me, I still have like fear every time I see a police officer, but
yeah, and I really want to change that. Yeah. I want to help and somehow be a part of changing that because you should never have fear. After my house was, I was targeted and raided several times. Right. And because the day I was moving out of my house is when I found out the reason why. My neighbor from across the street came over and he was like, oh man, you're moving. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh dude, I just got to tell you that day, the last day that the cops showed up and he's like, to raid your house, he's like, they pulled onto my front lawn too, and I was growing the whole time. Every time you got raided, I thought they were coming.
I thought they were coming for my ass.
And they were. The guy who lived next to him, I know who you are, you know, on Parkdale in Livonia. You know, he's the guy who was always calling the cops on my house. And he was right next to the guy who was growing. And it was like, and you know, like I had some stuff going on in my house too. I had some renters, but it was like all above board, all legal.
It was legal, legal 100. We're not growing illegal weed, but
you know, in Michigan, it was very different.
100% legal.
I even had it inspected by the fire department, but you know, and it was a rental house. So it was anyway. So
and there's a reason he's not behind bars.
Yeah, I didn't get any charges. I mean, well, they charged me for like with 2 things and then dropped him like immediately in court. Right. You know, and you know, it was wild. But yeah, so like when that all took place, he comes over and he's like, "Oh man, I thought it was gonna be me every time," and like walked away. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like that's the reason why that's been happening to me. Like, oh my God, I cannot believe this
guy.
Yeah, because this guy's been growing. It smells and like, you know, like, oh my gosh.
He's like, oh, it's got to be that one.
Because I could still smell it, you know, to this day. And I was always like, it's not me. See, I knew it's like somebody, like, who is it? You know,
Either
like
way, it's legal. You guys shouldn't fucking care.
I know. Well, he was doing it illegally. He was doing like his whole basement. No, like there's numbers that you're allowed to grow and stuff. And he was like way above it. He was like, people were in and out of his house. He was selling all that. I can't believe they thought it was me and not him. Like, it goes to show
right
you.
across the street.
Yeah, right. Literally right across. It goes to show you confirmation bias. They thought it was me. And so they were just like,
so they were just like, all right, it's got to be him. So we got to put all this evidence against him.
Yeah, and they didn't have anything, so like it was gone and out real quick, you know. But yeah, so it's like after all that happened to me, when I'd see a police, my bottom jaw would chatter, and sometimes my teeth would be like. Yeah, like literally when I was driving, and I'd be like, and I'd get so mad because I was like, gosh darn it, Alex, stop. Like, you're not afraid of them. But I had a gun pushed against my forehead, and I was laying on the ground face up, and he put his gun against my forehead and pushed my head again to where it hit the ground. And he said, if you look at my face, you in that. And I was like, he means
that's
that.
That's like a fucking cartel member going right up.
He means that.
That's
and
like,
and it was an AR-15. Wasn't like, you know, I think it would have been scarier with a handgun, to be honest. But
either way,
it was just like, it was nuts. And that was like a gang squad in Detroit, which they all got dismantled, and the guy, the head of the gang,
they really are a gang fucking squad.
He got fired, you know, because he did another raid on a house and they shot a little girl, you know, like a couple weeks later.
Actual fucking criminals.
Yeah, well, dude, it was so nuts. After he did that, and you know, and I'm like, okay, I'm laying on the ground, you know, and like they flipped me over, put me in handcuffs. They dragged I had a love seat. They dragged it out to the front lawn and put me in my love seat on my front lawn. As at 5 o'clock where all my neighbors are driving by and stuff.
Yeah, just embarrass you in front of everybody.
Yeah, they thought it'd be funny as hell to do that. And they're all like walking around. He's like, where's it at? Where's the drugs? Where are the drugs at? Where are the drugs at? I know they're here. I know they're... And he was like, and I was like, dude, you guys are all on coke. I was like, all of you guys are on drugs. I was like, it's so obvious to me that all of you guys... And
did they have body cameras?
Nope. They were in all black ski mask. They're gang squad. So, and I, when it first happened, I was like, I need a uniformed officer to present himself, or I'm going to begin to defend myself. And they were like, if you defend yourself, you're dead. And I was like, I need a uniformed officer to present himself. And the guy stepped in the door and stepped out. And I was like, all right, thank you. And that guy was a good man. The look on his face when I made eye contact with him, he was like, this is wrong. He was like, this is wrong. What's going on here? And then my recruiter came in because I was going to go into the U.S. military at that point. So my recruiter comes walking over. My mom comes walking.
What the fuck is going on?
They try to mess with my mom. They try to mess with the recruiter. Like, it was just funny. It was like, you know, that guy, he didn't give a shit. They all, you know, like
fuck you, motherfucker. Who the fuck is?
Yeah, they're like, you're not allowed in here. And he was just like, shut the fuck. You know, like, he literally just like pushed the guy's gun to the side. And like, it was like,
he's like, I've had so many of those in my face, man. It don't matter.
You know, and then like one of the guys knew who he was, and they were like, hey, you know, like don't mess with that guy.
He's like, hold on, that guy's gonna kill like all of us in 4 seconds.
Yeah, don't trigger that guy. But you know, so that was all. That all got figured out and evened out to where it wasn't an issue. Thank God. But you know, it was wild. It was crazy, and it made my jaw chatter, and I really, really didn't like that, you know, and it goes to...
I don't think anybody should have to be scared of police, you know?
Yeah, and that's why, but you have to like choose what you want to do in life, and you have to look at what you want to accomplish, and then you have to think about what that turns into. So if you want to be a police officer, you know, what does that mean for you? What kind of car do you drive? What kind of hours do police officers, work? You know, you got to think about all those things instead of just like, I want this title or I want this position, and that's going to make me a complete person or who I want to be.
Right.
You know, you got to think about that journey that it takes you to get to that position and to be the best you can in that. And is that what you want? Do you want that journey?
Right.
Like it's almost like saying you want to be on top of a mountain, but you don't want to make the climb.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know?
I always take into account the climb, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, I don't know, it's very logical in my head.
Like to me, it's like if you want to, swim across the lake, you're going to have to jump in.
And I
know,
always
so
take that into account.
yeah. So if you're like, I never want to swim, but I want to be able to swim over there, it's like, well, that's not possible.
Yeah.
So you have to just like, and it's easier when you make it, stupid analogies like that. But yeah, it's like you really have to take some time to think about what kind of life do you want, and then find out what kind of career or position or work can give you that feeling or that,
Right.
and not so much focused on the money, but focused on the journey, and look at success as like becoming the best person that you want to be and being happy with who you are without needing anything on the outside to,
And I
to
think
be that.
I think we're getting there. Just right now is a tough moment. We don't have too much leeway on what we're doing, but I think it's good because it locks us down and it gets us going into a good direction of getting this business off its feet.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I love this time.
Yeah.
I am like in the zone. I just love every second because I know in a few years from now, I'm going to be looking back at this and I'm going to be like, wow, that's when it started.
Yeah,
that was
that is really cool. I do love that fact that we're gonna get to look back on this shit.
And it's like, this is the garage where Bill Gates was stealing everybody else's computer idea. I mean, building the first computer, like this is like, and all we're doing is taking everything else from the health and wellness industry and making it a little bit better and easier.
Yeah,
so,
we did invent a little Go Pack.
Yeah, we invented the Go Pack and our first formula.
I was gonna say we didn't invent anything, but technically we did.
I mean, we're inventing. We do have quite a few different formulas that don't exist right now.
Yeah,
that are going to exist.
Technically, we did invent that little pill as well.
Yeah,
but
but
we didn't invent the ingredients.
We didn't invent
we put
rhodiola.
it all together.
Yeah, rhodiola and all that. That was like.
I think God did that himself. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a God move. But but hey, if we could invent a plant and put it in a capsule, I probably would.
I would do that.
Maybe we will.
That would do a lot of money.
Maybe we'll do like some type of like natural genetic engineering. I don't want to get into like
synthetic plants.
Yeah, but maybe just put two plants together. Maybe they'll like each other. I'm just kidding.
When a mommy plant and a daddy plant
a mommy plant.
together.
Hey, and we're not labeling anything. If you feel that mommy and daddy can be daddy and daddy, mommy, mommy.
You can do whatever you want.
Do your thing, right? Man. Do your thing. But yeah, so we just wanted to talk a little bit about. You kind of went off in a bunch of different areas.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think we talked about all sorts of things.
Yeah, but it's just like identify where you want to be. Make sure you're not looking for something outside of yourself to validate who you are, and then just take small action towards that. But identify what those actions are going to have to be by talking to somebody who's already done it.
Right.
Everybody who's done something that's worth doing has at least had one person in that area or field be successful, and at least one of those people who have been successful has written a book about it.
Right. And just to add on to the fact of, I really do enjoy this. Whenever we're sitting here talking and like I forget that there's even a camera right here, like I can block it out and it wouldn't make a difference. I'm still talking. That's actually really exciting and I love it.
Yeah. It's definitely, this is like my time off from working on the business. This is when I get to just relax and just have fun. I love it.
And then after this, I get to go in there and chop up all these fucking videos.
Yep. Yeah, we got a lot going on, and it's just a million things. Our Go Packs are literally on the way, in progress shipping right now, and that is really, really exciting. I think it's going to be nuts when we get those boxes. I don't even know how many boxes we're going to have.
It's going to be a lot more than
it's going to be crazy.
Pills,
yeah, it's going to be crazy. Like, I hope we don't get any issues with the apartment complex, but I doubt we will. But I'm just going to try to be here when they deliver it, so the guy's not like third floor.
Yeah.
What the?
Gotta get all this shit up there.
But yeah, if you haven't gone to dogonpacks.com, make sure you go there, sign up for the pack. That's just our online community where you can stay up to date with everything that's going on. You get a bunch of free shit, free merch. We always send out free stuff to our pack members because the pack is what makes Dogon Packs what it is.
You are the Dogon Pack.
You are. So make sure you join. And if you haven't made your pre-order purchase yet, you're going to want to. We have space running out for Alpha Pack members.
Right. You're going to get every single product that we release for free, at least one of them, know.
Every single
your
product.
Founders Pack, don't forget that.
The Founders Pack is going to be some, gold or silver, some type of really nice Go Pack. And you're also going to get one of every merch we come out with. And guys, we're looking at...
No matter what, you're going to get more value than you put in.
Yeah, you're literally going to buy your first Dogon Go 3-pack for like $35. But I mean, we've talked about way too
Yeah,
much today.
We've been going on and on and on and on.
Even to
but
the point of the camera
the
overheating.
camera did just overheat, so if it looks a little funny, that's why.
But whatever.
But whatever.
Make sure you go to dogonpacks.com and check us out on the next episode, of course.
Yeah, we'll see you later.